Football isn't just a game. Sometimes it turns into pure chaos. From wild player fights to fans storming the pitch and referees running for their lives, the sport can get seriously intense. Today, we're counting down 10 of the craziest, most unforgettable football moments ever caught on camera. Get ready. Some of these will shock you. Ajax versus Feyenoord fan invasion and player clash, 2022. During a heated clash between Ajax and Feyenoord, emotions ran high both on the pitch and in the stands. Tensions exploded after a controversial decision by the referee, sparking outrage among fans. In the chaos that followed, a group of supporters rushed onto the field and confronted Ajax players directly. What started as shouting quickly escalated into pushing and shoving between the invading fans and members of the squad. The situation became increasingly volatile as more people crowded the pitch, creating a dangerous and unpredictable scene. Security personnel had to step in quickly, surrounding the players and working to push the fans back toward the stands. Eventually, with heavy security intervention, order was restored. But the dramatic moment highlighted just how intense the rivalry between Ajax and Feyenoord can become when emotions spill over beyond the game itself. Brazilian League mass player brawl. What started as a regular match between two local rivals in the Brazilian League quickly turned chaotic. After a rough tackle, tensions boiled over, and players from both teams rushed in. Within seconds, the field turned into a scene of pushing, shoving, and players grabbing at each other as punches were thrown in the heat of the moment. The sudden fight caught everyone off guard. Referees tried desperately to step in and restore order, while other players and staff members rushed over to separate those involved. For a few intense moments, it was less about football and more about controlling the chaos unfolding on the pitch. Eventually, cooler heads began to prevail as people managed to pull the players apart. But the incident left the match tense and the atmosphere charged long after the scuffle ended. Zidane's final moment, World Cup 2006. In the 2006 FIFA World Cup final, it was supposed to be the perfect farewell for Zinedine Zidane. It was the last professional match of his incredible career, and the entire world was watching. Late in the game, Zidane exchanged words with Italian defender Marco Materazzi. No one knows exactly what was said, but seconds later something unforgettable happened. Zidane suddenly turned around and drove his head into Materazzi's chest. The stadium fell into stunned silence. Fans, players, and commentators could hardly believe it. The referee showed a red card, ending Zidane's night immediately. Instead of lifting the trophy, the French legend walked slowly down the tunnel. France later lost the final on penalties. That brief moment became one of football's most shocking scenes. A reminder that even the greatest players can be overwhelmed by emotion when the pressure becomes too heavy to carry. The Battle of the Bridge, Chelsea versus Tottenham. In May 2016, Chelsea hosted Tottenham in a match that carried the weight of the title race. From the first whistle, it felt less like football and more like a street fight. Players were constantly in each other's faces, shoving, arguing, and clashing after almost every decision. Tempers boiled over so often that the referee seemed to lose control of the night. At one moment, several Tottenham players crowded around him as frustration spread across the pitch. By full time, 9 yellow cards have been shown. Tottenham's title dream didn't just slip away, it unraveled in real time. The goals mattered, but the bigger story was discipline falling apart under pressure. Years later, people still remember the chaos of that night more than the final score itself at Stamford Bridge. Roy Keane versus Patrick Vieira, Old Trafford Tunnel. Some rivalries don't even wait for kickoff to explode. Before a match between Manchester United and Arsenal had even begun, their captains were already going at each other. In the tunnel, Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira squared up face to face. Words flew, tempers flared, and the tension was obvious to everyone around. Officials quickly stepped in before things could escalate, pulling the two apart. But that moment wasn't just about one argument. It was the result of years of fierce competition and bad blood between two dominant teams and their leaders. Both men hated losing, especially to each other. When the game finally kicked off, the intensity on the pitch matched what had already happened in the tunnel. That brief confrontation became one of football's most unforgettable moments, reminding everyone that in great rivalries, the battle isn't only physical, it's psychological too. Sometimes it starts long before the whistle. Lionel Messi's rare outburst. Lionel Messi is famous for staying calm on the pitch, which is why this moment surprised fans around the world. During an international game for the Argentina national football team, Messi began to show visible frustration after dealing with repeated fouls and constant stoppages. Eventually, he argued with the officials, clearly unhappy with how things were being handled. The tension kept building, and the situation reached a point where the referee finally showed him a yellow card. For most players, that might not seem unusual, but for Messi, it was rare and unexpected. Fans aren't used to seeing him lose his composure like that. But the moments serve as a reminder of something very human. Even the calmest, most disciplined athletes have limits. When the pressure keeps piling up, anyone can react. In the end, it showed that no matter how legendary a player is, they're still human and pressure affects everyone. Port Vale versus Leeds fan and referee confrontation. During a heated match between Port Vale and Leeds United, tensions briefly spilled over near the touchline when a fan tried to approach the referee. The moment unfolded as emotions in the stadium were already running high, with both teams battling intensely on the pitch. As the supporter moved toward the official, stadium stewards quickly stepped in and intercepted him before he could get any closer. Their swift response helped prevent the situation from escalating and ensured the referee's safety. The incident lasted only a short time, but it caught the attention of players, staff, and spectators nearby. Situations like this highlight the pressure and passion that often surround competitive football matches. Fortunately, thanks to the quick actions of the stewards, order was restored almost immediately, and the focus soon returned to the game itself, allowing play to continue without further disruption. Zamalek versus Al Ahly Egypt Derby chaos. Tensions ran high during a fiery Cairo derby between Zamalek SC and Al Ahly SC. The match took a heated turn after a controversial call from the referee sparked frustration among players on both sides. What started as complaints quickly escalated, with several players confronting each other, exchanging pushes and heated words in the middle of the pitch. The situation became so intense that the referee had to step in firmly to separate the players and restore order. Teammates and officials rushed in as well, trying to calm things down before the clash spiraled further out of control. Meanwhile, the passionate atmosphere in the stadium only added to the drama. Fans from both sides reacted loudly to the incident, and their emotions were clearly visible on camera. It was another reminder of how intense and emotionally charged the Cairo Derby can be, where rivalry and pride often push the limits of tempers on the field. Fan invasion and player retreat, Indonesia League. Tensions ran high during the fiercely contested match as the intense rivalry between the two sides spilled over into the stands. At one point, the situation escalated when fans rushed onto the pitch, not just once but twice. The first invasion caused a brief pause in play as security and stewards quickly moved in to escort supporters back to the stands. However, the second incident was far more alarming. A group of fans broke through again and managed to get dangerously close to the players before security could step in. For a few tense moments, it looked as though they might actually reach the athletes on the field. Thankfully, stewards and security personnel reacted swiftly, forming a barrier and pushing the intruders away before things could spiral further out of control. Despite the disruptions, order was eventually restored, but the incidents highlighted serious concerns about crowd control and stadium security during high-stakes rivalry matches. Pepe losing control. Real Madrid versus Getafe. Pepe has always been known as a defender who plays right on the edge. In this particular match, though, that edge turned into a moment he couldn't control. After committing a foul, frustration clearly got the better of him. His reaction escalated quickly, and it didn't take long for the referee to step in. Out came the straight red card. The stadium erupted instantly. Fans reacted, Teammates rushed over, and a few tried to calm him down. But by then, the decision had already been made. The damage was done. Moments like this tend to stick in people's memories, and this one followed Pepe for years. It became part of how many fans viewed him. It's a reminder that in football, talent and trophies matter, but composure matters just as much. One brief lapse in judgment can sometimes overshadow everything else a player has achieved on the pitch. And that wraps up our list of 10 of the wildest football fights and chaotic moments ever caught on camera. From players completely losing their cool to fans storming the pitch, referees getting chased, and massive brawls breaking out, football passion can get seriously intense, sometimes a little too intense. Which of these moments shocked you the most? Had you seen any of these clips before? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this roundup, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next jaw-dropping football moment.